What's up, my community? I'm your girl Dia, and I'm back with another travel guide. And in this video, I'm going to be taking you along our journey traveling internationally with our toddler to Lisbon, Portugal and Barcelona, Spain. Now, I've had friends that have said to me, Dia, I know my toddler and I would never do it. And I get it. But for those of you who are right on the edge and just need a little push making the decision to travel internationally with your toddler, hopefully this video will give you some tips that will give you that confidence to pack up your toddler and make those memories. All right, now let's get into it.
Our first stop after leaving out of Charlotte, North Carolina and having one layover in Munich was Lisbon, where we stayed at the comfy and eclectic Chiado Arty Flats. Chiado Arty Flats is a boutique hotel centrally located in the Chiado district. When booking hotels, my husband tries to find a place that's centrally located but not in the heart of the touristy traffic, and is a boutique hotel specific to the area. And Chiado Arty Flats checked all the boxes. We find that staying at boutique hotels, it provides a more pleasant and authentic experience. I really loved Chiado Arty Flats' fun and industrial decor that they somehow made feel like home. It sort of reminded me of the R.J. Reynolds factory in Winston-Salem that they restored into a series of office buildings and restaurants and a lot more. The decor was really cool. It had just enough activity around the hotel to feel exciting without being directly in the city center. They served breakfast room service style, delivering fresh pastries and a tray full of goodies every morning, and would have the aftermath cleaned up by the time we returned from our fun-filled day. Our next stop was Barcelona, where we stayed at the 4-star hotel, and I hope I say this right, Catalonia Passeig de Gracia. We really enjoyed the luxury feel experienced at this hotel, the friendly service, and a nice balcony that we probably would have enjoyed a lot more if it weren't so cold. This hotel offered breakfast and dining restaurant style, which they were so kind to allow my husband and I to bring our breakfast back to our room since we had to take turns going to breakfast while the baby slept. Now I'll take a pause for the calls to enjoy a little bit more of the room tour. Now let's get into some of the food and fun that we experienced while on this trip. Our hotel in Lisbon was conveniently around the corner from this pizza spot where you could grab a slice on the go. And it was also near this amazing mom and pop spot called Flor do Mundo, where we frequented often during our stay in Lisboa. We quickly became family there and enjoyed some great food and desserts, including the popular dessert pastiche. While there, we enjoyed the squares, grabbed some Euro, caught a ride on the famous Santa Justa lift, where we had great photo ops and took in some great scenes. We checked out the Convento do Carmo, I hope I'm saying that right, known for housing the eerie South American mummies of a young boy and girl. along with being known for housing some collection of modern art. We checked out St. Anthony's Church and the Lisboa Cathedral, which was a wonderful experience. To access certain parts of the cathedral, we had to park the stroller in their designated area since there were so many stairs, but luckily, this little one was awake and ready to explore. We explored more of the city, and this amazing thing happened. Right in the middle of the hustle and bustle, a gentleman picked up an accordion and took us to the opera. He had a bucket tied to a rope where you could give donations, which I thought was really cool. We also checked out one of the most popular aquariums in Europe, the Oceanario de Lisboa, where this little one started out like this, and by the time we got inside, she was like this. But that was totally fine because it gave her dad and I an opportunity to have a mini date. I really enjoyed this aquarium, and she would have too if she was awake. We took a romantic cable car ride overlooking the aquarium and the surrounding area, and it was large enough to allow us to leave the little one resting in her stroller. A short ride away, we visited the Combatants Museum in Fort de Bom Sucesso, where we got to witness this cool guard station exchange.
This is why you're not doing this, you see?
And I really felt like a princess visiting this castle on the shore. Even though it was windy and a chill in the air, it was a beautiful day, full of activity. And even though this little one slept a good portion of the day, she finally woke up to enjoy the afternoon. We ended the day taking a walk to the popular spot for pastéis, the pastéis de Belém. I hope I said that right. Now, forgive me, all of you pastéis de Belém fans, but I actually enjoyed the pastéis I had from the mom and pop restaurant better. Our first night in Barcelona was not that great. Luckily, our hotel was great, but we ventured out to grab some food and quickly learned that making a reservation was our best bet if we wanted to be guaranteed a good meal the remainder of our stay. My husband Googled a spot that, after we walked all the way there in the cold, came to find that it was closed. We traveled throughout the winding alleys trying to scope out a place to sit down with no luck. And mind you, it was nighttime. They were all busy and had no one greeting you to tell you the wait times. And after 2 attempts at a street food restaurant was unsuccessful, we ended up with Subway on our first night in Barcelona. No good. But we learned from that and made reservations the rest of our stay. While there, we visited some great architecture from the famous Catalan architect Antoni Gaudí. My favorite for sure was the Parc Güell. From the walk up to playing in the playground, venturing through its gardens and architectural elements, and the beautifully sculpted Hansel and Gretel house. It was a truly magical experience with amazing views, creating great opportunities for some amazing photos. Right outside the Hansel and Gretel house, we stopped at this fun shop for some gelato and cappuccino. That night, we had dinner at La Fonda, which was an unusual but delightful experience. We made reservations for 8 p.m., and when we got there, we were surprised to see there was a line of people who all had reservations for 8 p.m. The restaurant didn't open up until 8 on the dot, not 1 minute earlier. And then they let us all pour in like grazing cows, being escorted to our seats. My husband wondered how we would all be able to be served our food in a timely manner, but they had this routine down to a science. We were served promptly, and my husband tried the popular dish, the seafood paella, and tried octopus for the first time. Yeesh. And of course, we had to have some dessert. I think it's safe to say that our little Baba had a great time as well. The next day, we checked out another of Gaudí's masterpieces, La Sagrada Familia. It was phenomenal. Check this out. We grabbed lunch at this fun Japanese spot for some takeaway, and my husband got adventurous yet again with some sushi. Yes, you guys, we've never had sushi, and I still haven't. And no trip is complete without a stop at Mickey D's for our little Baba's chicken nuggets. On the rainy walk back, we got to feed the pigeons. Our little Baba was showered with balloon animals with the request of a donation, of course, and an unplanned photo sesh with this fun character here, with the request of a donation, of course. On this last night, we took a beautiful ride along the seaside to this really nice restaurant, Mana 75, to celebrate my birthday. The staff was so friendly and accommodating of our little one. I have to go back to experience this restaurant in the summer. It's right near the beach and has outside seating, and I can only imagine how beautiful it would be. But it was so cold and windy when we were there, sitting outside was out of the question. The wind was blowing so hard, it almost took the door off the taxi. Speaking of cold, let's talk about the weather in Lisbon and Barcelona at this time of the year. I watched a video that talked about the weather of Lisbon during April, and well, somehow I still underprepared for how cold and windy it would be in both areas. I didn't pack a coat for any of us, but I did pack a light jacket. And during the day when the sun was shining and we were in the sunlight and not in the shade, a light jacket was okay. But as it got late or on rainy days when the sun wasn't out as much, it was cold. I definitely had to go shopping for warmer clothes on this trip. During our trip, it didn't get any higher than 68 degrees and got as low as 58 degrees. So I would highly suggest if you are going to Lisbon and Barcelona during the month of April, you might want to pack a heavy coat and probably hat and gloves as well. Now let's talk a little about how we got around on these cold days. Since we were centrally located, for the most part in both places, when it was nice, we walked. Having this Ergo baby stroller that could easily be packed into this backpack was very convenient. And also having a good stroller, especially in Lisbon, is crucial because Lisbon is really hilly. I mean, I'm talking like inclines that's beyond what I've ever experienced before, and the cobblestone roads, they are tough to navigate sometimes. So having a really good stroller is crucial. But taxis and lifts became our main mode of transportation while on this trip. And here are a few tips with helping to get around. One, as with our trip when we went to Paris and Rome, we downloaded the Free Now app, which allowed us to request rides just like using Uber or Lyft. The Lisboa card could also be a great option in getting around because it allows you to get around on the buses or trolleys, and it can also help in providing some discounts when visiting certain attractions. Now, another tip is making sure that you have an outlet converter. This was very helpful for us so that we could properly charge our devices because European and US outlets are not created equal. So we needed to make sure that we had these converters so we could properly charge our devices so that we would be able to have those devices to use while we were out trying to request our rides. And on this trip, we made sure to take care of the data situation. Instead of worrying with roaming, my husband found this really convenient eSIM technology provided by this company simply called Orange, where we were able to use the eSIM to set up a travel European phone number on our phones, and we're given 20 gigs of internet credit, 1,000 SMS credit, and 2 hours voice credit outside of Europe when not on Wi-Fi, and unlimited calls and texts within Europe. It was a lifesaver. Now, the only thing we need to make sure we grab on the next trip is a portable mobile device charger, because we didn't have it on this trip. And running out of charge in unfamiliar territory is no fun. Of course, since we're still dealing with COVID, testing is required to leave Europe and re-enter the US, or at least it was during this trip. This time we made sure to get a test for all 3 of us, and this little one did great. Now, of course, before you get in any plane, train, or car, you have to pack, my least favorite part of travel. So I thought I'd share a couple packing tips and TSA prep that I've started to incorporate to help things go a little bit easier. We try our best not to have a whole lot of bags and to have the least amount possible when traveling. And so for this trip, we ended up with 6 total bags, 2 check bags, 2 carry-ons, the baby bag, and a snack bag. I've started using these space saver bags to create more space in the luggage, and you simply pack your clothes in the bags. They come with sizes small, medium, large, and extra large. You seal it with this little tool that they give you to lock in the seal, vacuum out the air, and reattach the lid. Voila, easy. Now, you're probably not going to be traveling with a vacuum, so they come with this easy to use pump. And again, you just pack, seal, screw on the pump, and pump to your heart's content. You'll start to feel it get a little bit harder and more resistant to pump as the air comes fully out, and you reattach the lid. If you're like me, you may have a toddler who still drinks milk. We give our toddler a plant-based milk called Ripple since cow's milk doesn't agree with her system. We found these travel-sized containers of Ripple and learned that when going through TSA, especially in US airports, it's not ideal to load a ton of them in your baby bag. It makes going through TSA a nightmare. I'm applying for my global entry, so hopefully it won't be an issue going forward, but we've started packing them in the space saver bags just like our clothes and putting them in our check bag. I just pack them and secure them in the zipped part of the luggage between a blanket, and they have made it there safely. Now, another tip for TSA, especially if you have little ones that you're going to have some type of liquid, especially again in USA airports, just be prepared to either have them to really pat you down and do some extensive kind of search, or be prepared for them to open the container and do some form of test to make sure that there's no chemical in there. And having your documents easily accessible is very key as well in helping to get through TSA, smoothly with your little ones. We don't have any fancy, tools that we use to hold our documents, passports, any tests, COVID testing, papers, any of those things. We just put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the front pocket of our baby bag. Now I have a mom confession. I have definitely been that mom who's been walking and seen kids acting out and thought, glad that's not my kid. I've often thought because my daughter is so calm and chill, she wouldn't be like that, but there were definitely tears during this trip. Here, she was so upset she couldn't ride the escalator at the airport and the waterworks turned on. So I've learned no matter how good your kid is, it can happen to you. But I thought I'd share this really cute experience also. During our layover at Munich, headed to Lisbon, we found this cool play area, and of course, Angel fell in love. She started playing with a friend, a little boy that I believe was from France, and although they didn't speak the same language, they somehow communicated so beautifully together as they played and didn't want to leave one another. It was really cute and beautiful to watch. I'm excited for the friends she will meet all over the world as the years go by. All in all, this was a great trip. Travel is really important to my husband and I, and birthdays are our time to do it big. This was an amazing birthday trip to me from my husband and my daughter, and I'll forever cherish the experience. It means so much to make these memories with our little Baba that we can share with her as she gets older, and have all these pictures and videos. It just warms my heart, and every memory means the world to me, from catching movies in the big blue sky, receiving a birthday serenade from the cutest little voice in faraway lands.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oh, happy birthday, my
Thank you, Baba. Thank you, my love. You're the best. Or capturing epic photos. It's all worth it. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. I'd appreciate you hitting that like and subscribe button, and let me know in the comment section, what is your next adventure? I look forward to sharing more exciting travel guides with you, and if you have not done so already today, I want you to stop, take a moment, find a reason to laugh, and keep smiling. Until next time, and always, stay blessed.